Hey guys, we're going to cook the Visayan version of pork adobo. There are different variations of adobo depending on the region in the Philippines. There is adobo that is all meat. Some have vegetables mixed in them, such as potatoes or bananas, and some with boiled egg. And some adobos have sauce with it when it is done, and some are slightly fried and doesn't have the sauce. And that is the adobo that I'm cooking today with pork belly meat. We start by slicing up the pork belly into about 2/4 inch slices. There's a particular Asian market that I go to that sell pork belly, and they have them every day. This one that I got from the grocery store doesn't have the outer layer of the skin, and it was a pretty busy day for me, and I did not get a chance to go to the Asian market that I was referring to. I'm not sure why they removed the skin on this one, but this is what is available in my kitchen today. Also, for health conscious individuals, they stay away from the fat and cook the lean meat instead. But for this dish, I will cook it the traditional way, and we leave the fat on because that is how our pork belly was cooked when I was growing up. And some people prefer or like chicken adobo better, and others beef or other kinds of meat. I like all of them. It would just depend on what I feel like cooking on a given day. But you can cook adobo on any meat that you like. As for the ingredients, I actually use the same ingredients for all of my adobos because I don't want to deviate from the flavor that I'm used to growing up. I use soy sauce, vinegar, garlic, black pepper, both whole corns and ground, and bay leaf, and that's it. I tried experimenting with other ingredients such as adding onion to the adobo, and I even tried the version with vegetables and the version with sauce and even the version with egg. It just doesn't agree with my taste, and something's not quite right, so I stick with my traditional adobo and I'll leave the experimenting to others. So here we are: garlic, bay leaf, black pepper, vinegar, soy sauce, and of course the pork belly. It is actually pretty simple. We just mix all of the ingredients together in a pot. Of course, the pork meat and all of the ingredients that I mentioned. And the pork meat gives off a lot of water. So I just wait to add water when the sauce runs out and the meat is not yet tender. But with pork, you will be surprised at how much sauce it gives off. So we just mix them all together and cover it. Then we let it boil in medium heat. And because there are different types of pork meat, the length of time to tenderize the meat would differ. So we just need to check on the tenderness of the meat every once in a while by piercing it with a fork. And that is all you really need to watch out for. And of course, check for flavor. If you need to add a little more soy sauce, then do so. And some prefer it a little salty and some don't. And adobo is actually a little salty traditionally. And of course, some people have made adjustments to the flavor. I prefer it just a little bit salty, not too much. And then we just keep checking the meat. We let it boil, then just keep checking and piercing it with the fork and see if it's tender enough. And if you need to add water, of course, add a little bit of water at a time, because you don't want to over tenderize the meat. It just turns into flakes, all of it. So you want to keep the form. I did add a little water in this one because it was not tender yet when I checked, and the sauce was running out. And you will notice in this dish that when the sauce is reduced, when there's not much sauce left, the sauce actually gets stickier. It's a little sticky. If you notice, that's when I added water in there, because I noticed that the meat was not tender enough. So when the meat is tender enough, and there is little sauce left, you just keep stirring and let the oil from the meat slightly fry the meat itself in the end. What happens is when you keep stirring, the sauce and all the flavors will stick to the meat, so that you will be left with just all clear fat from the meat. Right there, the sauce is still dark. It has not stuck to the meat yet, but you just keep stirring until it sticks to the meat. And that's, if you notice, the oil from the pork has come out, and we just slightly fry the meat itself. Now when it is lightly fried, it should be ready. You don't want to over fry it because it hardens. And we just plate it up when it's ready. So if you would notice, the oil when we remove the meat from the pot will be just clear, all fat, no dark sauce left, because it all stuck to the meat. So here it is being plated up or removed from the pot, because we don't want to leave the meat in the hot pot or the cooked pork in the hot pot, because it will continue to fry longer and you will have an over fried adobo. So notice the oil, that's all fat from the pork, and it is actually very clear, as I was telling you earlier. And that's what it looks like when it is cooked. If you enjoy this video, please hit like and subscribe for more.